So don't be afraid to be unique. You know, you just have to just let yourself go and flow with what you feel.
Enjoy yourself. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, enjoy with yourself. There's so many times we're just so focused on our bad things or something we've thought or said to somebody. I mean, how many times do you replay something in your head that you said to somebody and it's like, oh man, if I could have just said it this way. Or you keep replaying that story over and over again, reframing it. Oh, things would have turned out different if I, you know, stood up for myself, or if I really told that person how I felt, or...
Well, not to be cliche here, but hindsight is 20/20.
True. And you don't always get an opportunity to replay that situation over, so you just have to accept what happened, learn from it, and maybe,
move on.
Maybe the next time that you're in a similar situation, you won't react the same way. So, you know, it does require courage to be unique and to be yourself and to stay outside the box. You know, you don't have to be way out there outside the box. Social conformity has its purposes, but it's nice sometimes to color outside the lines and just be a little free-spirited and
Nothing wrong with that a bit.
Yeah,
if more people were, maybe we'd have a different society.
We definitely wouldn't be so uptight. We're pretty stressed out right now, most people are, because of all the obligations that we have to go through every day. But, you know, it's being accepted is important to us, so we want to stay within that box, and especially on the job, you're required to stay within the box to a certain degree. So
yeah, people are social creatures anyway, and, you know, unfortunately, being the social creatures that we are, we do want camaraderie and, you know, being ourselves, we want ourselves to be presented in the best physical and emotional concept or that we possibly can put forth.
So when we are out in public, oftentimes we do put on some type of facade as to who we really are.
I think we all put a facade on some nature or another, you know.
Oh yeah, it's like we wear different skins, you know. You go out in public with the work group, you act a certain way. You get with your party friends, you act a certain way. You get around your family, you act a certain way.
And we all embellish it too.
Yeah. You're on the internet, on a chat, you know, chatting with somebody on one of your social networks.
Well, that's the best thing.
You might be somebody that you're not even. So, you know, we want to be accepted. So in this popularity of the social networks, it allows an opportunity to be accepted, perhaps by people who don't know you for who you really are. And sometimes that's a good thing, as long as you're willing to bring out the real you instead of create a fantasy you that really isn't you.
You know, speaking of that, be honest with yourself. You know, accept you for who you are right now. And if there's changes that need to be made, so be it. You're aware of them. Move forward to do something with that. But who you are right now is what is important. And as far as your health, skills, you know, talents, sit down and write them out. See what they are. You'd be surprised what you might come up with and what you may be able to focus on and bring out and for society to view. Yeah,
I mean, if you keep a list of, you know, if health is an issue for you, then write down the things that you can do to improve your health. You know, your relationships. Take a look at your relationships. Make a list of those that are working, some that might need some more work, or those that you feel you'd like to get out of.
Or avoid entirely.
Yeah, well, everybody's got, you know, there's all those categories of relationships, and, you know, that all has to do with how you accept yourself, how you see yourself in these relationships, how you feel content or happy within this relationship, or is it a source of stress for you in this relationship?
About is the relationship, how is that relationship going to best serve you?
Yeah, because a lot of times in our relationships, we're concerned with serving the other person.
Right.
We think that's what love is all about. I have to give all my love to you, and you'll give it back to me, but sometimes that other person doesn't give it back. They're just taking. So you got to kind of assess, is it a two-way street? Are you giving and taking? And you know, you don't want it to be a one-way thing. And another thing to look at about yourself is, you know, it's really hard to be honest about some of your addictions and habits. Admitting that you might have a problem with some type of substance that you ingest or drink, or a habit that you do, you know, that might not be beneficial toward you. It's really hard to admit that you have these things going on. So in part of the assessment process, if you could take a little effort to maybe do some honest assessment. And
honesty is the best policy in this case.
Yeah, because somebody else might see something in you, but you might not see it in yourself. It's very easy to overlook.
Well, we're the last to see the flaws in our own self. You know, others are more apt to point it out to us before we realize that our own self.
And a lot of that is...
Or at least want to admit it.
Yeah, because we are so wrapped up with serving our needs and making sure that we're seen and noticed and, you know, we're heard, and so we don't always see how we present ourselves to other people.
Well, like, for instance, you got a class reunion coming up, or a social gathering, or an office party. You know, you pretty much can't hide from that. You know, you're right out there, big and bold, if you will, and best thing to do is just accept it. You know, go there and enjoy.
I think one of the hardest things to do is to go back to your class reunion. The first one, to me, the 5-year one was the hardest, or the 10-year one, because you're expected to have achieved something by then. You know, you either got to graduate college, or by 10 years you should be well into a decent career, you know, and if after 10 years you haven't achieved something, it's hard to go there and say, oh, you know, I'm still living with mom and dad. I play games and watch TV for a living. No. But, you know, but as you get older, you know, the 20-year reunion was a lot easier to go to, because by then, you know, people have either had a career, they've not had a career, they may have had careers and changed careers. It's like, who cares after that? So the first couple of class reunions can be, you kind of want to present yourself maybe as a little bit different from who you might really be. So there might be a lot of pretending going on at some of those early class reunions.
You think?
So, you know, you decide how you want to treat that. If you feel compelled to go to a class reunion, a lot of people just skip it because they don't want the stress of having to tell other people all about their lives. So. And another thing that always that can happen is, you know, you might be compared to other people in your family. I mean, if you come from a family that has a good number of siblings, you tend to be compared to your brother or sister, you know, especially in school, if you've had similar teachers.
Yeah, I can relate to that. You know, I had a teacher in grade school that had almost 4 generations of our family. Try to live that one down.
Yeah, so if you're the younger one, you know, you've got that, you've either got good things or you've got bad things you have to work through.
Well, you got expectations that have to be lived up to. You know?
Yeah.
Why couldn't you be like your Uncle Boy or your
brother,
your mother, or you know?
But we are all unique individuals, and just because we come from the same genes doesn't mean we have the same personalities and we learn the same way. So, you know, it's hard to ignore the comparisons that you make with other people, especially when you're young. I mean, adults will sit there right in front of children and compare. Oh, but he doesn't look anything like his brother, you know, how come his hair's black and the other one's red, you know, and kids will hear this. And
his father's hair's red and his is white. What's the deal there?
Or, you know, he's so shy, you know, they'll say that right in front of the kids, and they pick up on that, and they see that, oh, that person's telling me I'm shy, I must be, you know. So it's something that you got to kind of work through as you're growing up and becoming an adult, that you have to maybe not listen to some of these comparisons that people make about you.